In the first two sessions, we have discussed regarding the various memory cells. Let us just recall the concepts which and all we have studied. We have discussed regarding a 3 transistor dynamic RAM cell, 1 transistor dynamic memory cell. Then we have discussed regarding the NMOS pseudostatic memory cell and CMOS pseudostatic memory cell. And also we have discussed regarding CMOS pseudostatic D flip-flop. So in this session we will be discussing regarding 4 transistor dynamic memory cell and 6 transistor static CMOS memory cell. The memory elements discussed so far, maybe it is 3 transistor or 1 transistor memory cell or pseudostatic CMOS and pseudostatic NMOS. So whatever memory cells we have discussed so far, it involved N-type transistor. Thus they can be implemented either in NMOS or CMOS designs. So the cells which we are going to discuss now, it utilizes both N-type and P-type transistor, and thus they are intended for CMOS systems only. Here you can find the first diagram, that is figure A. It is a 4 transistor dynamic memory cell, and the second figure, that is figure B, it is 6 transistor static CMOS memory cell, and figure C, that is sense amplifier. So we'll be discussing each in detail. Let us see what is the function of sense amplifier later on. So here the first figure, we call it as the 4 transistor dynamic memory cell. The reason is that it makes use of 4 transistors, that is T3, T4, T1 and T2. Okay, so here you can see that through T3 and T4 the bits will be transferred and it will be stored as gate capacitance in T1 and T2. So the bits to be stored as gate capacitance at the transistor T1 and T2. Okay, so the next one we call it as 6 transistor. So here you find T5, T6 transistor, and you also find 2 inverters. So one inverter means it will contain PMOS as well as NMOS. So 2 transistor. In another NMOS, in another inverter you find 1 NMOS and 1 PMOS. Okay, so then you have T5 and T6. So totally 6 transistors are present, hence it is called as 6 transistor static memory cell. And the third diagram, that is sense amplifier circuit, we'll discuss regarding this later. And here the data inputs are given through input output bus, and you have use a control input, that is column select. For pre-charging we are using pre-charge bar, which is coincident with clock pulse 5-1, and you need one more control input, that is row select. Okay, so the explanation for this will be given in the remaining slides. Okay. So in case of 4 transistor dynamic RAM cell, you can find 4 transistors, that is T1, T2, T3 and T4. Initially pre-charging takes place, that is you have pre-charge bar into phi1, that is pre-charge in coincident with the phi1. When it is equal to 0, the PMOS gets enabled. So here you can see the source end of PMOS, it is connected to VDD. So bit and bar line is pre-charged to logic 1. Let us look into the other PMOS, that is T5. Here also the same gate input is applied, that is pre-charge into phi 1. If it is equal to 0, then this PMOS is also enabled, and here also it is connected to source, that is bit n is also loaded with logic 1. So here initially you can see that bit n and bit n bar both are pre-charged to logic 1. Then later on we can write the data as well as read the data. So let us see how write operation is carried out. So for write operation to be carried out, see the data to be stored, it is sent through IO bus. Here the data is sent in the same form as well as complementary form using IO and IO bus whole bar. So here you can see now both the lines are in logic 1 state. Next, what happens during writing and reading, let us see. So when we are performing write operation, let me say here you are storing 1, that is IO bus input will be 1 and IO bus bar it will be equal to 0. So to carry out the write operation, column select line has to be made 1, and meanwhile the row select line has to be made 1. When both are enabled, the MOS gets the NMOS gets enabled. Here also when column select is 1, both the NMOS bits gets enabled, and here also T3 and T4 it turns on when row select line is 1. So here data is sent through IO bus as well as IO bus whole bar, that is through bit n and bit n bar. So here here through this NMOS 0 is sent, that is current syncing takes place, whereas here we have logic 1 state. So through T3, that is T3 transistor, because row select input is 1, the T3 transistor gets enabled and the bit will be stored as gate capacitance in T2. So here you can see the gate capacitance Vg2 is equal to 1. Let us see what happens at the other transistor. So here IO bus it is equal to 0. So 0 will be transferred here to T4 bus, that is through T4 you get 0, and that 0 is stored as gate capacitance here in the transistor T1. So here you can see that the bits stored in T1 and T2 are complementary. Now according to the explanation, T2 holds logic 1 and T1 holds logic 0. This is regarding the write operation. Okay, so let us see how read operation is carried out. For read operation to be carried out, the row select line and the column select, it has to be made 1 simultaneously. When it is 1, here you can see that T3 is connected to T2, gate capacitance of T2. So what is stored here? Here 1 is stored. So T3 it is 1. The buses are already pre-charged. Even for reading case also the buses should be pre-charged to logic 1. So through 1 we get 1 through IO bus. So what happens through the other bus, let us see. Here logic 0 will be stored. So T4 passes logic 0, and through IO bus logic 0 is obtained. This is how data is stored or data is retrieved. We have already discussed the working. Okay, let us see. Here it uses the 4 transistor dynamic memory cell. It uses 2 bus lines. They are labeled as bit and bit bar. Okay. So initially both are charged to logic 1, that is prior to write operation as well as read operation. So first they will, in case of write operation, first both the lines will be pre-charged to logic 1, and then the data is written through input output bus. Okay, and for read operation, so there also first the bit and bit n bar both are pre-charged to logic 1, and then based on the bit 1 and 0, if 0 is present then that line will be discharged. Okay, so both we need bit as well as bit bar line. And about the write operation, so initially bit and bit bar lines both are pre-charged to VDD or logic 1. So here you can see two transistors, that is T5 and T6. These are the PMOS transistors. So when pre-charge bar into phi 1, okay, when it is equal to 0, both the transistors are turned on and both the lines, that is bit and bit bar lines, both are pre-charged to logic 1. So then out of these two bus lines, one will be discharged to 0, that is when a data input is given. Okay, so next what happens is that the column select line is activated with phi 2. So IO and IO bar, these two carries the data lines, as IO and IO bar, both the input lines are present. So through one, the logic 1 will be sent, and through the other, logic 0 will be sent. So based on the data, whichever carries logic 0, so that will pull down the bit line to logic 0. That is how 0 is present. Okay, so here both the row and column select lines, they are activated at the same time. So bit state lines, they are written through the two transistors, that is the T3 and T4, and stored in T1 and T2 transistor. So here in case of 4 transistor dynamic RAM cell, the data that is passed through T3, it is stored as gate capacitance in T1, and whatever is passed through T4, that is stored as gate capacitance in T2. For read operation also, priorly pre-charging takes place, that is through transistor T5 and T6. The two bus lines, bit and bit bar, both are pre-charged to logic 1. Okay, then the row select line as well as the column select line is made 1. Okay. So here we can see that T1 and T2, it stores complementary bits. So if 1 is stored, T2 is on and T1 is off. So here the bit bar line is discharged to VSS via T2. The data is read through T3 and T4 transistors. That is how read operation is carried out, and the bits are available through IO bus lines. In any design, it is necessary to keep the area of each cell to a minimum value. Okay, that is that the transistors should be of minimum size, and therefore they become incapable of sinking large charges quickly. Okay, so thus it is very important that the charges stored on the bit line be modest, and this may not be the case if they are connected in parallel. Okay, so here see, initially the two lines are pre-charged, and based on the input, either the output or the bit line will be retained in logic 1 and or it will be pulled down to logic 0, right? Because of the size of the transistor, it takes too much of time to discharge the charge stored, right? To overcome this, a sense amplifier is used. Okay, so here you can see that T1, T2, T3 and T4, they form a flip-flop circuit. If you assume that the sense line is inactive or it is 0, then the state of the bit lines will be reflected in the charges present on the gate capacitance of T1 and T3 with respect to VDD, such that 1 will turn off and 0 will turn on either of the transistor. Current flowing from VDD through an on transistor, it helps to maintain the charge of the bit lines, and determines the state which will be taken up by the sense flip-flop when the sense line is activated. Okay, here two PMOS are used in the circuit. So when 0 is given, then the PMOS will be turned on, and 1 will turn off the PMOS. The geometry of the sense amplifier per column will be such as to amplify the current sinking capability of the selected memory cell. So here you can see the sense amplifier circuit. Okay, here in the sense amplifier you find the 4 transistors, that is T1, T2, T3 and T4. Okay, so here whatever is there in the bit 10 bar, it will be stored in T1 and T3. Okay, let us see how it is stored. Okay, now here suppose bit 10 input, if it is 1, okay, so bit 10 bar it will be 0. So here it is 1. If it is 1, then the T3 transistor will be 0, because it will be in 0 state. The reason is that T3 does not conduct. So here bit 10 bar it will be 0, and bit 10 bar if it is 0, then T1 it will turn on. So if it turns on, then bit 10 line will be 1. Okay, so this is how the charge will be held for a longer duration. Okay, now if the sense amplifier input is 1, then the output will be retained in logic 1, or it will be pulled down to logic 0. Okay, that is how using a sense amplifier will be pulling down the output to logic 0. Okay, next let us discuss regarding the 6 transistor static RAM cell. Okay. Here in the 6 transistor static RAM cell, it is similar to the 4 transistor dynamic RAM cell. The difference is there in the inverter. Here you find 2 inverter circuit that is connected back to back. So periodic refreshing of data is found here. So the explanation is same as that of 4 transistor dynamic memory cell. Let us see how data is written and how data is read from the 6 transistor RAM cell. So initially the 2 transistors, that is 2 PMOS transistors, that is T1 and T8, they are turned on. This is turned on when pre-charge bar into phi 1 it is equal to 0. So here we can see the 2 bus lines, that is bit 10 and bit 10 bar, both are pre-charged to logic 1. Next, we need to write the data. So when we are writing the data, the column select line is 1. When it is 1, the 2 transistors are turned on. When the 2 transistors are turned on, so the data is fed in, that is through IO bus line, okay, as well as IO bus whole bar. So the bit lines are complementary, so 1 and 0 is sent. Okay, now what happens here is whatever is there in the IO bus, it is passed through T5 transistor, and it is stored as gate capacitance in the top inverter. Similarly, whatever is there in bit 10 bar, it is passed through T6 transistor, and it is stored as gate capacitance in the below transistor. This is how data is stored. So here when IO bus and IO bus bar data bits are sent, whichever carries logic 0, that will pull down the bus line to logic 0. This is about the write operation. For write operation, the data bits will be stored as gate capacitance. This is called as a 6 transistor. The reason is that here there are two transistors, that is T5 and T6. So along with that you have two inverters. So each inverter in CMOS design will contain a PMOS and a NMOS. So for each inverter, two MOSFETs. So 2 plus 2, that is 4, and the two transistors. Okay, so totally there are 6 transistors in the configuration. Okay, now let us see how read operation is carried out. For read operation to be carried out, initially the pre-charging is done. That is the two transistors T7 and T8, they are pre-charged to logic 1. Then whatever input is there in the gate capacitance of the inverter, that is passed through T5 and it is available in bitline bar, and whatever is there in the below transistor below inverter circuit, that is moved through T6 transistor and it is available in the bitline. That is how data is read through two input lines, IO bus and IO bus whole bar. That is for the read operation also. Initially pre-charging is done, then after that the column select as well as row select lines both should be enabled, so that the data is read through IO bus and IO bus bar, that is in the original form as well as the complementary form. Okay, so answer this assignment question. With a neat diagram, explain a 4 transistor dynamic RAM cell and 6 transistor static memory cell. So when you explain this, either you can draw it separately or in a single diagram as shown in the above figure. So you can explain both in one diagram itself, and you also should draw the sense amplifier circuit, and you need to explain why it is used.